Hey guys, happy Friday. I'm so excited that I finally get to record this video. You have no idea. I've been meaning to since I went to LA. Time flies, when you have a lot of work, you're busy, but I finally found some time, and like I did last time, just when I was walking Charlie and I had time to actually walk him for a long, for an hour and a half. So I'm I'm going to record the video, no more excuses. So last time I actually got to record a video in LA, but it was mainly about the challenges and kind of giving advice to travelers to prepare more in advance because of all the challenges in terms of reservations, no outlets in certain Starbuckses, not having places to charge your phone, and all kinds of things. And if you want more information on that, please refer to my last live video that I shared as a post. It's probably a reel right now in my Instagram. But yeah, so going back to this one. So this video is going to be more about the positive experiences. So I wanted to focus this time on the fun things that I was able to achieve. It's kind of crazy what I was able to achieve looking back, because I only went for a few days. I went from Thursday to Monday, and I was working. So I was working full time, and I had to save all the plans for the weekend. So you'll get a sense of what I was able to do, and believe me, you're gonna be super surprised. You're not gonna believe how much I backed into it. So this video is going to be useful for people that are traveling to LA soon, and for people that are curious and just want to know, is it worth going to LA? What can you do there? And yeah, that's it. So if you're interested, please keep on watching. All right, cool. So Thursday, non-starter. It's just the day that I flew in, got used to it, had dinner with a friend, just got settled into the Airbnb. Nothing much happened that day. So when it really got fun was on Friday. Plane. Oh my God, you have to work in production to understand what that means. Being an AD, script soup, etc., and having planes go over you all the time, means stopping a shoot in the moment, waiting because of sound, and then starting over. So everyone in production knows what that means. Actors have to deal with that. They have to repeat their lines if they're shooting outdoors. That was a big parenthesis, but just wanted to share that since we had a plane go over. So Friday was really when I was able to visit a lot. So the advantage of working in Miami time is that LA time, I finished work really early, so relatively early. It was 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the afternoon. So I had a whole evening, because LA, much like, any other big city, there's just so much to do till late, and the sun sets as well very late. So it gave me an opportunity to visit it, to do a ton that day. So the first thing I remember doing, because I was in downtown, I had asked Andy to drop me off in the Starbucks in downtown, and I worked from there. And thank God I charged my laptop and my phone and everything the night before, because they had no outlets. Like I mentioned in the other video, it's not easy to find places where you can charge your phone. So that was a good call on my behalf. I worked there, handed everything in on time, finished the day. And since I was in downtown, I'm you know what, I'm going to visit. And I do know that some parts of downtown are dangerous. So don't think I'm crazy. I didn't go to any of the dangerous neighborhoods. I know about Skid Row. I saw the whole documentary on Cecil Hotel, so don't worry about that. But I stayed within the safe areas and didn't get too crazy ambitious or too adventurous. I stuck to what I thought was safe. Just instinctively, and also just looking at the neighborhoods in the map, I was able to figure that out. If you need any tips, I can give you those. But just for the sake of making a shorter video, I'm going to go ahead and just talk about what I saw. Downtown, similar to downtown Miami, is rich in Art Deco buildings. Also New York, of course. So it was so cool to see these beautiful Art Deco buildings. There's one in particular. I'll try to find a photo and share it soon on my stories, because it was honestly spectacular. There was a lot of turquoise in it, and it caught me by surprise, because I didn't know what I was going to find in downtown, to be quite honest. I just wanted to get walk around, do a little stroll, kill some time, because I believe I was waiting to meet Andy at some point. So at that point, I saw a few Art Deco buildings from the outside, and this one that I'm mentioning, I got to see the lobby real quick, but the outside is really where, the beauty of the architecture. And you can tell that it's an area that's gentrifying. There are designer boutiques and coffee shops and little restaurants, etc., and you can see some parts are quickly, like some parts of the neighborhood get quickly, like not sketch, but just like, you know, more of a transition. It actually is similar to downtown Miami, where, you know, like there's the jewelry shops, like where you can go, and the pawn shops and all that, like where, you know, it's not unsafe, but it's not like the safest area either. And then, but then all of a sudden you see this area where like the new buildings are, like Muse, Monarch, all that stuff, and like they're super, you know, there's tons of people on the street, and there's tons of places to go for lunch, etc. So yeah, it's kind of like similar in that sense. So then after doing this, I found a hole in a wall that had Greek food, grabbed some food there to go. That was fun. And then after that, I found a donuts place where I then met Andy and the boys. Alonzo and Jay were there as well, shooting an event. And I met them real quick, and wow, those donuts were spectacular. So let me just talk about them real quick. They're called Mochi Donuts. If you want more information, I can always just put the information, the link below this post. They're called Mochi Donuts, and they're Korean, and they had all different kinds of flavors. The ones that stood out to me are like the taro. There was like I think a Korean coffee, and there's another one that was really good there. So we're passing by. A matcha one. Yep. But the fun thing about them is the shape of the mochis. So they have like a very particular shape where you can break off little parts of it. Apparently this is well known. I had no clue, because in Miami we don't have that many Korean places. If you live in New York, you're more exposed to that. I believe in Montreal as well, like there's a little bit more of an Asian influence than there is in Miami. So it's kind of starting here in Miami, but little by little, right? So we don't really have like mochi shops here that I know of. If you do know of a spot here in Miami, please tell me, because I miss them. They were like fluffy and airy, and they were so delicious. But okay, I'm gonna move on, because otherwise I'm just gonna eat up all the time. Okay, cool. So after that, what I did is that I caught an Uber and I went all the way to Hollywood. So that was my first day in Hollywood. I had already been with my parents before, so it was not as surprising to me, but it was still very cool, very fun. It was full of people and street performers, like just as you see, you know, in videos and on TV, etc. when there's reports about it. Same kind of vibe. It was exactly what I expected. And then I just walked around. So why Hollywood? One, because it's like an easy place to choose as the center of your diameter. I kind of talked about this in the previous video. If you want to choose like a safe bet and you don't have a car and you're moving in an Uber in LA, such a big city, and you only have a few days, it's kind of like a good safe center to the diameter of what you're going to visit. So I always kind of like fell back to that, because it's a place where not only is there a ton to do, a ton of distractions, it's safe, and you can go at night and feel safe when you're there, and always find something open. So that was why it was like my fallback all the time. And also because I love history and I love film, and so, you know, it's just a combination of all great things. But I was surprised, because I decided to on that specific day to actually walk around the like a few blocks south, a few blocks north, you know, just to get a sense of it. And I made my inner goth happy. So if you guys didn't know, when I was a teenager, I was goth punk. It didn't last too long, but, you know, I would say that inside I'm like a closeted goth. So I'm very bubbly and girly on the outside, but I have this like side to me that I love rock, you know, metal, altern rock, all kinds of different types of rocks that I listen to. I grew up with all that, punk rock, and so I saw these stores. I saw like a series of like 2 or 3 stores in a row on Hollywood Boulevard that were goth, and I got super excited. I'm like, oh my god, I have to go in, I have to see it. And they're not like Hot Topic. This is like legit the real deal, the real thing. And if you had met me as a teen, you would have known that I wore like spiked bracelets. I wore like there was this dress that my friends got me that was black and red, that was made by, it was like a brand that was called like Vampira, like something of the sort. So I was really, you know, really into that kind of stuff. But the reason I got out of that world, and I decided not to continue in that in that world is that I went to a specific club in Montreal that's for goths, and the type of people that were there gave me like such a weird vibe. I'm big on vibes, guys. I'm a person who believes in the spiritual world. I'm very spiritual, religious as well, but not too, I don't practice too much religion, but I do believe in God, and I believe in the spiritual world, and I believe in vibes and energy. And so when I walked in there, there's just kind of like a darkness to it. And okay, you would say like, oh my God, duh, like it's goth. But no, not really. Like there's sides of goth that, well, let's be honest, like a lot of angry people, because I was an angry teen. So you have that, but you also have just like a fun people that like rock, you know, you don't necessarily have like just darkness in it. So when I went there were like these people that thought that they were legit vampires, and it was Halloween, and there was a lot of people like wearing costumes that were super cool. Don't get me wrong, like they were full on attire of like, you know, it looked like a Marilyn Manson music video, but it was kind of like too dark. I don't know if you get me when I say that. Like if you've watched American Horror Story, you might understand just what I'm saying, like where it's like you love the shows and you're into it, but there's sides of it that are very disturbing and dark. Well, that's kind of like the same feeling. So going back to sorry, I get distracted easily. If you know me, if you don't know me, now you know. But just a side note that will give you some context of why I went to these stores. So I went to the stores, I went in, and they were actually super cool, the girls there. Don't get intimidated because they dress differently than you, okay? Let's stop like boxing people and, categorizing them based on their looks alone, okay, guys? So I bought myself some cool sunglasses, like very eclectic, and had so much fun reliving my teens, and then stepped out and kept on walking and did some souvenir shopping, the typical like Hollywood stores that have like, either Walk of Fame references or like famous like movie stars from the golden era, typical like, typical souvenirs that you'll find there. Really, really fun. So that's what I did for a bit. Then after that, I still had time. Oh yeah, so another reason why I went to Hollywood is because I had bought tickets to go to Moulin Rouge. Yep, the Broadway show, guys. I was so freaking excited. Before booking my trip to LA, I knew about it, and it's only happening in select cities in the US. So when everything got confirmed, I was so excited. It was the first thing I did. I was so excited that I actually bought 2 tickets by accident. So yeah, dumb me, and I couldn't refund the other one. So whatever, it's fine. I feel like I just like donated to them. It's fine. But yeah, so that was like the culmination, like the best part of the night. But before we get to that, I want to talk about what I did right before that, which is I went to the Hard Rock Cafe. So I feel like if you know that there's a Hard Rock Cafe in a city, you have to go check it out for a little bit. I don't know, that's just me. I love rock. I love classic rock as well. Oh yeah, and the more adult I get, the more I'm into classic rock, more than just like the harder, louder stuff. I guess that's normal. But yeah, so that was really fun, and I had a drink there, and if you pay just a little bit more, you get to keep the glass that you're drinking in. Well, they'll give you like a brand new one, but still really cool. So I did that for a bit, and it's a great environment. I just sat at the bar and talked to the bartender. Super, super nice people. And they have live shows, so if you're ever interested in going, it's not as like glamorous as the Hard Rock in Miami. If you're expecting that, you're going to be underwhelmed. But if you're looking for like, relatively affordable drink, and you like Hard Rock, and you want to just like maybe see a live show or grab a bite, like that's, a reliable place. So I recommend it. Then after that, I realized like, oh my gosh, the show's starting soon. I better get going. So I like walked super fast, borderline running to go to the Moulin Rouge, because then I underestimated how far it was. So I finally got there, and wow, guys, the show was spectacular. I can't even say how excited I was, because it's just beyond, it blew me away. For context, I'm a big Baz Luhrmann fan. I do think that he goes over the top sometimes, that it's a little bit flamboyant, but in the best ways, don't you think? Sure, maybe he should use less, 3D titles, less, transition effects, and maybe it's too stylized, but it's also like cool that he has his own style, that he's very unique, and I appreciate that, right? In a world where everything is like, clone of, when a movie is clone of another, and they just keep on remaking the same movies, he's very original, right? So I grew up watching, like I saw Romeo and Juliet when I was very young, and it left a huge impact on me. It was amazing, so much fun to watch that movie because I was already interested in Shakespeare, but it just like solidified my interest in it. It gave me a chance to connect more with it because it was like modernized, and also I had a huge crush on Leo DiCaprio, as you guys may know, that I've had since then. So that was really cool. I loved his style of filmmaking and been watching his movies since then. The other one that I loved is Moulin Rouge, but also Elvis, which came out recently. And if you haven't seen it, like, you have to stop whatever you're doing and go straight to the movie theaters because it is worth watching. It is worth watching. I think that Austin Butler did quite the performance, honestly. Like, it blew me away. There were moments where if you looked like, I don't know, away for 2 seconds, you would believe, not away, but like if you got like captivated by the movie and you kind of forgot that like they were actors, etc. I thought it was actually Elvis, like legitimately. So that was so cool that I got to see that and experience that. And like going back to LA, so the show, I mean, if you guys want me to give more details, I will. Maybe in another opportunity. But right now, just for to be as fast as possible on this point, I can just tell you that the staging was spectacular. The acting was amazing. The lead actors have such an amazing voice and did fantastic overall. The whole cast and the leads, of course. And now I follow the whole cast. That's I think that should tell you guys how much I loved it. And it's unexpected because they did a few twists. So if you've seen the movie, don't worry. You're not just like going back to the theaters to watch Moulin Rouge all over again. The cast looks different. New music that they incorporated, and super cool. Worth going, okay? All right, so if you're near a city where they're playing it, please go and enjoy that and support the cast members, okay? So that was my Friday night. So I'm going to record a separate clip for my Saturday day and night. Okay, guys? So just join me for part 2. Thanks.